Hello and welcome back to another week of the VAR from Accurate podcast. I'm Morgan, I'm a Hibs fan, and I am joined by Molly and Heidi.
Hey, I'm Molly, I'm a Hearts fan.
Hi, I'm Heidi and I'm a Celtic fan.
It has been an interesting set of fixtures. We actually have two fixture sets to talk about because we had some midweek action, which preferably I'd actually not like to get onto the midweek, like if that's an option here.
Nah,
But
I think we better start with Tuesday.
oh, the one game I don't want to talk about. Hearts won, Hibernian no. Oh, where do you start with this? Molly who wants to go first?
I'll take it from your perspective first.
Well, it felt like I watched a repeat of a game that happened in October, if I'm being brutally honest. It was, in many ways, similar. Firstly, it was freezing cold. Secondly, It was not a good game of football, particularly by either side. I think there was a bit more quality in this one compared to the October one, but still not a good quality game of football. And again, Hearts got a late winner. Oh, it was really just an all-round disappointment, if I'm totally honest. The ref, there was a few controversial decisions with yellows and that, but at the end of the day, we weren't good enough regardless of these refereeing decisions. Like, there was no decisions that determined whether we lost the game or not, because we were just poor overall. It just wasn't good. And you're looking at this, and how do you let the exact same thing happen? How do you switch off in the same way you did in October? You'd think the forefront of your mind would be like, oh, in October, we switched off late at this exact venue against this exact team. You should be extra cautious. You can't just switch off like that. I just don't know when Hibs will learn.
Yeah, I mean, I agree what you say on that part of it. It's, from your perspective, it would be really frustrating. I know that, if that was Hearts in that situation, I would be absolutely fuming as well. But personally, the way that Tuesday night went was unreal. The whole first half and second half up until 88 minutes was the scrappiest thing, as it always is. But at the end of the day, Thomas Magnuson, take a bow, because that wasn't an easy shot to take either. It was nearly going behind him by the time he actually realised where the ball was. And Harry Millen, I've been saying this for so long, Steve Clarke needs to be looking at that team and needs to be looking at Harry Millen specifically. Because the jump that he's made from the Championship up into the Premiership and the way that he is now and the way that he's playing for us, to create the chance and cross that ball over for Thomas Magnuson to get the goal, I thought he was outstanding, and I think he played almost every single player off that pitch. He outplayed his own teammates as well by an absolute mile.
I feel like it's very common, like, hearing this praise of him. And I mean, I don't know, I don't want to give the man too much praise, seeming as he was getting on my nerve on Tuesday, but it is something that I've just heard non-stop. There's been so much praise of him everywhere, particularly since Tuesday night, and I'm not enjoying it.
No, I think just for weeks now, I think he's been absolutely outstanding. When he first came into Hearts and he was playing in these awkward positions that weren't suited to where he actually plays normally now. And he was trying to fight for his place in that squad, and it's a hard thing to do, as it is. I mean, our squad is massive. I think the last time I counted, it was something like 28 or 29 players, which is ridiculous. You can field nearly 3 teams within that. It's unbelievable. But overall, I think I don't have a lot to criticise within the Hearts team on Tuesday night. I thought that we played pretty well. Having Chesnikov coming in as well straight off the bat, obviously proved himself in training, got his place in the squad. I thought he played good. I'm getting a little bit frustrated with Kabore now. I think that he has a bit of an inability to actually go for the ball himself. So hopefully that works itself out eventually, and he comes into a bit more form, because it was annoying at times on Tuesday night. I think that Mark Leonard, again, I say this all the time, I've got no complaints against him at all. And the back line, considering we were missing Halkett, I've not got any complaints on that part of it. My one thing that got me on Tuesday was actually the fans more than anything. The atmosphere for the past 2 home derbies that we've had, it's been dead. There's been nothing going for it. and it's just been such a frustrating experience.
I mean, I've been to both those derbies, and like I'm not trying to totally like thingy Hearts. I'm not saying Easter Road's the best atmosphere in the world, but it definitely hasn't felt like a derby atmosphere until you've got those goals. Like when it was 0-0, that atmosphere was pretty abysmal for a derby. You could even see the club with all their fire, like the pre-match sort of build up. They were trying to make. I feel like they were almost trying to push this big atmosphere on it, but I just couldn't feel it. I'm not saying the Hibs end had a great atmosphere either. It wasn't particularly
No.
a bouncing atmosphere. There was moments where I thought pretty good atmosphere, but the Hearts fans also had moments of good atmosphere. But I totally get your point. It didn't feel like a major derby atmosphere.
No, and I think that Hearts have had this issue for a few weeks now as well with the home games that we've had. I don't know what's got into people, but I was having this conversation with another Hearts fan the other day, and there's a lot of kind of standout moments for me as a Hearts fan, when players walking out and you're hearing like the Hearts song playing and you're twirling your scarves around, and it's good. And we hadn't had that for so long, and it wasn't until there was another podcast called Scarves Around the Funnel who actually urged fans to get involved and bring it back again, because we'd been missing it for so long. And I think in the game that they've done that, from that game up until now, we have held on to that. And it's been nice to see that coming back in. But I think the thing that Tynecastle's lacking just now is that we've got the ultras in the Gorgie end, and I think they're great for what they do. I have to say the big tifo that they had, I thought was great. What I never realised was that was hand painted, which is insane as well. I don't think you get a lot of clubs that are hand painting a tifo. So that was nice to see kind of behind the scenes of that as well. But yeah, overall, Derby a bit frustrating. Very happy with the win. Tough goal to get, but it was fought out in the end, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, obviously it was a massive 3 points for you. It's just one of those things that when you are challenging for these titles, the thing that's getting you so high is you're pushing these games out until the end. Even though it wasn't a good performance from either side, one team got 3 points and the other team got 0 because you pushed until the very end, and it's something that Hibs might need to start doing. Or maybe just not switching off at the end. That would work too.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Heidi, have you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I did. I watched the game. I thought it was quite boring. Hibs had a lot of chances. They should have taken, I think Boyle did have a chance, but it was quite intense. You looked at two teams trying to fight for every point they could, or 3 points, but in the day, Thomas Magson scores that header and gives Hearts the 3 points, so that obviously wrapped up for Hearts, and then with Derby, another win for them, obviously, the back of defeat at Easter Road. They wanted to show that at home. I thought the atmosphere looked pretty decent. I thought, to be fair, it actually not bad. Obviously that tifo, I thought that was class. But in the day, 3 points is 3 points for Hearts, and I think that showed that on Tuesday night. So definitely, I say it wasn't like one of the best derbies. Like, it wasn't great, but you know what I mean. In derbies, like, form just goes out the window. Like, you didn't know what's going to happen. It's like a Celtic Rangers game. You know what I mean? You just don't know what's going to happen. But massive credit to Hearts for getting a last minute winner.
So, do we finally get to move on?
Yes.
Celtic 2, Livingston 1. I mean, of course, it's another late winner for Celtic. It's really becoming a pattern. But how happy can you be with that as a Celtic fan? Heidi, what were you thinking?
Honestly, I thought the game was pretty iffy. I think Livingston did fight. Their goalkeeper did make a few saves, but I think Cumming obviously had to bring on Oxlade-Chamberlain to score the winner. I thought it was class, but I thought again there's some poor performances in that team on Wednesday. Rio Hatate, like, he didn't have a need to give a penalty away. Like, he gave Livingston a penalty, and Livingston obviously scored the penalty, and it went to 1-1. It was like 1-1 for absolute ages, and I was so nervous. Like, oh no, that's us dropping 2 points to the bottom side. Livingston have won like 23 games. Like, please no. And then bring on the man, Oxlade-Chamberlain, new signing, scored an absolute outstanding goal. Like, it was unbelievable goal, and gives us the 3 points. I think we've kind of got the last minute winners must be a wee theme at the minute. We've done it a few times this season. It's been a wee bit of a repeated pattern for us, but I think just coming away with the 3 points is all I ask for at this stage of the season. How early, how late it is, as long as we get 3 points, it's all that matters. But it was quite, not the best game, but you know what? 3 points up the road. That's all I can ask for in a Celtic team at the minute. I think hopefully now we can try and bounce on. But yeah,
No, definitely. I mean, of course you are going to be happy, but wow, I just can't believe that like, with all due respect to Livingston, they have been woeful. Right, I mean, Hibs have dropped points, so I can't be getting too high horse about this, but that Livingston side, all going the full, like, within the 90, almost getting a 1-1 draw with Celtic at Celtic Park as well. It's just, wow. I mean, obviously Celtic did win, they did get the 3 points, but that really, really shocked me. Like, what did I even predict for that? Probably like 4-0 or something. Like,
Yeah, I think I was the same. It's just, I just honestly don't know what's going on with Celtic at the minute. Like, it's these games that you would expect to be winning, and it's like you're struggling.
yeah,
And I mean, I'll be the first one to throw my hands up in the air. Like, when we played Livingston away earlier on this season, they had a good fight in them in that game. It took us time to come back as well. I'm sure actually we might have been 1-0 down. I can't remember, but it was not a convincing performance on our end either. But I think that game on Wednesday, it does seem to be that running theme of late goals at the minute, and we'll get onto a bit more of that very shortly. But
yeah, and I think even in that game as well,
just,
we should have been a lot more up, like 3 or 4 goals up, like generally.
yeah,
But we just didn't take a chance, and that's it.
yeah, I don't know. It's been a bit of a funny one recently for years, and I know obviously there's still all the sack the board protests and stuff like that, but the first one that I've seen, and again we'll come on to weekend games a little bit later on, but I will say now, I've seen my first Martin O'Neill out.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What?
I've
I'm
seen my
sorry.
first
Oh,
Martin
you
O'Neill out.
what?
It's probably some guy with like a wee Rangers fan disguised with like 0 followers. I'm not kidding.
Nah,
I'm just the messenger, don't shoot the messenger.
that
But
is so funny. That sums
yeah.
up football fans these days.
Oh yeah,
That's so
it
sad.
absolutely does. And I think like I don't think he's deserving of that. And I said this before when he came in as interim manager the first time round. I have a lot of respect for him as a manager. I thought he is very well spoken about the team, and he will speak out about the issues as well within the club, not just what he wants you to hear. He will give you everything. And I have a lot of respect for people that are like that. I had the pleasure of sitting in a room with him before as well. He is a very, very nice man. And I don't have anything bad to say about him, and I don't think that he's in a position where you would be shouting O'Neill out, because he's not done bad. But going back a little bit to that game on Wednesday night, obviously, I said at the end of last week's episode, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. What a strike.
Oh, literally
A
real.
very, very good goal. Can't take
Unbelievable.
that away from him in the slightest, but these last minute winners, it's not convincing. It really is not convincing.
Yeah.
But I think that pretty much sums up that game, and we've got next up Falkirk against Dundee. It was a Falkirk win again at home. If I'm right in saying they've only lost, I think it's 2 or 3 games at home this season, which is really good for the position that they're in. Another fairly strong performance from them. I've not got much to really say on a Falkirk perspective of it. They probably would expected a bit more out of that game, considering where they are and where Dundee are. Again, we said this last week, I don't think Dundee are in a bad position at the moment, just trotting along where they normally are. What I will say though is that I am slightly terrified if Jan Danda comes back to Hearts at the end of the season, and if Derek McInnes decides to do anything with him, because personally, that penalty was as bad as Elton Kabangu, and I think they might be best pals, because that's got to have been like a training session between the two of them. That was an awful, awful penalty attempt. I don't think he could have skied that any further if he tried.
Well, I was looking at this from a Hibs perspective. We had just dropped points, and Falkirk are like our main competitors for that 5th place spot, which at the moment is the only thing that I can see as a realistic possibility for Hibs. Like, 5th place is probably the best we can do at this moment in time. We're not overtaking Motherwell. Top 3's decided. So I was keeping a very close eye on this game. it wasn't Falkirk's best performance by any means, but they have been playing some good football, so they're not going to play amazing football every single week. They got the 3 points, which is what they needed to do. I was desperate for them to drop points, so I was very frustrated to see this penalty miss, and wow, that was not a good penalty, to say the least. But definitely, Falkirk fans, they got the job done, even if it wasn't pretty. Like, you can't criticise Falkirk for that. 3 points at the end of the day. It was a pretty 50-50 game from what I've heard, but I don't know. Penalty miss at the end. It's got to be heartbreaking for Dundee fans. They're in an alright position, but an extra point wouldn't hurt at this moment in time. They've got St Mirren not too far behind them, and Kilmarnock's looking like they could be turning things around pretty shortly, so...
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think like you say, it's probably not their best performance overall, but 1-0, 3 points, job done. That's all you can really ask for at the end of the day. Is what it is. It's push up in the table for them potentially, and obviously for you, it's not the most ideal of scorelines after a loss on Tuesday night, but 1-0 Falkirk, job done. So that was that one. Heidi, have you got anything to add to that?
I think obviously just kind of you summed it up how I was going to really say it anyway. Just basically, I feel like 1-0, so 3 points up the road. Another win at home for Falkirk. They're showing that quality. Just get wins in the bag, even if the game isn't great. Maybe they're not playing the best. It doesn't matter. They've won the game. Dundee, who are probably not too bad, not the best, not the worst. They've obviously started the season awful, but then they've came up a wee bit. But in terms of Falkirk, I think another win at home, just showing that they're a really good wee side and showing that they hopefully can maintain that top six position. And if, as Molly said, if you get about 500 1-0s, but it's 3 points, that's all you can ask for at this stage of the season. So, and obviously that penalty, I mean, awful. What's the guy doing? Wee bit silly, honestly. But end of the day, I think 3 points is 3 points for Falkirk, and that's all you can ask for at this stage of the season if they want to maintain top six. So, yeah.
A high-scoring game in Ayrshire, Kilmarnock 4, St Mirren 3. St Mirren, they're just going for a horrible spell at the moment. Kilmarnock, they're turning things around slowly but surely. They're showing more fight after a horrible run of games. Good win. Would have been a bit nervy at the end, especially if St Mirren getting that third. But they got the job done. They got 3 points, scored lots of goals, a hat-trick for John Jules, and you've got to be happy with that from Kilmarnock. They're really turning things around over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with that game as well, it's just there seems to be a lot of these high-scoring games coming back around at the minute, and it's stuff that you don't see very often. So that's got to be one that Kilmarnock are looking at. Very happy with the overall result. You mentioned John Jules there as well. That bicycle kick goal that he scored, unbelievable. Another contender goal of the weekend. Like, that was unreal. I've rated that as my game of the week. I think that honestly can't be topped, and very, very high scoring game. Kilmarnock obviously seem to be turning things around at the minute. Neil McCann has come out and spoke very highly of the things that are happening at Kilmarnock just now. Obviously, frustration previously and potential relegation as well has always been on the cards for them this season. But you wonder if this maybe is their turning point of the season now. And St Mirren, it's one they've got to look at. Really not happy with that at all. So we got beat off of them last week, which is annoying. But we said at the time as well, it's hard to go away to St Mirren, and Kilmarnock are decent at home as well. It's like Rugby Park's a hard place to go to.
I feel like there's no easy away games in this league.
No, there really isn't, and it's like, I don't know. It's just one of those like weird. I say this all the time. Scottish football is such a strange thing. It honestly deserves to be like its own individual sport at this point. Like, there's football and then there's Scottish football, because it can't be compared to anything.
But John Jules, he's really like, you're looking at his stats, he's been a big part in this turnaround for Kilmarnock. Their big win against Aberdeen, the 3-0 victory, goal and assist, hat trick against St Mirren. And we're not going to get onto the game right now, but today he did get a goal and assist again. I mean, picking up some amazing form. Definitely, you're having to look at him as a big part in this turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that game, I mean, that must have been some game of football for the fans in that stadium. Like, honestly, I thought that John Jules, take a bow. That bicycle kick, I seen that. I watched the video of that. That was unbelievable. Like, that guy is, that goal, definitely for a goal contender of the month for a goal of the season. That is class. I mean, Kilmarnock really picking up so much better at home, and a lot of Kilmarnock fans feeling a lot more positive than they would have maybe been under Stuart Kettlewell. They've been a lot more, a wee bit of fighting spirit in that team, maybe a wee bit showing a little bit more passion than they did before. And I think obviously you look at maybe they could still definitely stay up in the league, which I think they will. I don't see them going down. I think they have that mentality, and they have a wee bit of fight in them again. And I think when experienced guy in there, like obviously Neil McCann knows Scottish football and knows the league inside out, with maybe a wee bit experienced guy in there, they're maybe going to show that a wee bit better. But honestly, that must be some game of football if you're a St Mirren or Kelly fan. But Kilmarnock going top and John Jules hat trick. I mean, Kelly fans must be loving him at the moment. But honestly, big win for Kelly, and yeah, deserved.
Definitely, they're working so hard on this turnaround. I wasn't convinced that they would manage to make any sort of turnaround after the way things was going for them, but I have been proven wrong. So, if that's all we have to say about Kilmarnock and St Mirren, I think we go on to another game involving light drama. It's Motherwell 1 and Rangers 1. An early Rangers goal for Raskin and a late Motherwell goal to make it level. Rangers can't beat a 10-man Motherwell side. But I mean, to be fair, Motherwell are a great side. I actually called Motherwell one of the best footballing sides in the league, and I got told by a Rangers fan that I should get back in the kitchen. So I feel as if perhaps this game's a bit of karma for this specific hater.
Struck a nerve with that one. No, I think that, I mean, personally watching that game as well, I thought for the first 10-15 minutes, Rangers definitely had the advantage over Motherwell. They're playing very well. Motherwell, I maybe saying advantage isn't the right term for this, but Rangers looked like the better side for that first 10-15 minutes. Motherwell, we've said it a million times, they are a very, very good side. Very deserving of where they are in the league at the moment. And honestly, I've seen a lot of people saying, like, don't write them out of, like, that, like, second place fight as well. Maybe not quite winning the league, but second, third place, it's not off the cards for them either. They have been playing brilliantly recently. And that game, to go down to 10 men in such an annoying way, it wasn't a good tackle in the slightest, and it was deserving of a red card. But to come back from that and go level with a Rangers side who are also a very strong team just now.
Definitely. I mean, this proves that as well as they're really good football, they have a lot of fight in them. And if they keep playing like that, then yeah, they are a contender. They're not, let's have a look, they're not crazy behind Celtic, who's sitting in third. It's what, 7 points? Yeah, 7 points behind, which that isn't that crazy when you think about it. They're 8 behind Rangers with a game in hand. You never know what can happen. Teams can fall off like that, and if Motherwell take advantage, it's not out of the possibility. Personally, it isn't what I predict. I would probably say they'll finish 4th, comfortably 4th, but I mean, you never know. Don't write off the Lille.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I heard a lot of Rangers fans saying that Motherwell deserved the 3 points from that, because I thought Motherwell did play quite well, to be fair. And a draw against Motherwell isn't the worst this season, because Motherwell, as everybody said it for ages now, best footballing side in the league. They've shown that under this new manager. They've shown that aggression. Obviously, Rangers go 1-0 up, a good goal from Nico Raskin. But Stephen Welsh, that man, what a hero. Thank you for that. Honestly, just scenes at the end, just seen It was just absolute scenes at the end of that game. And obviously never really seen it because I was watching the Celtic game, but I seen the end of it and I seen that Welsh goal. I mean, just absolute scenes. A Celtic Loney scoring against Rangers. Absolutely brilliant. But as I said before, I mean, it isn't bad drawn against Motherwell because I know Rangers fans were a wee bit unhappy on Wednesday night. Some of them were a wee bit unhappy, but I think you look at Motherwell this season. I mean, as Morgan was saying, even a top three, top two, but I think they'll comfortably finish fourth and even a wee shout for a European spot. You never know, but yeah, I think they've just been outstanding, and I can't praise Motherwell enough this season.
Genuinely, the management there is just unreal. And also, like, I know because you're like fighting, every 3 point seems crucial from a Rangers perspective, but one of Hibs' best performances this season was their 1-1 against Motherwell, and it took an incredible Hibs performance to get that singular point from the game. So it is by no means a bad result. Motherwell are just a great side. And they're actually like, the football they play is enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that as well. The way that they've conducted themselves over this season, the way that management's got them playing, obviously training comes into this as well. They're putting a very, very good shift in every week, and there can't be any arguments against it. I did have to laugh at the fact that it was a Celtic loanee that scored their goal, though. Obviously, very entertaining. But no, it was a good game to watch. It was very end to end as well. There wasn't kind of any boring points of the game. I think from both teams' perspective as well, by the end of that game, you're taking a point. Obviously, Motherwell going down to 10 men. You've got to come back from that and fight for it. Rangers were played off the park for a lot of that. They have to be able to take the point away from that because they were at a point during that game where Motherwell really should have been on top of them. And they were playing wise, they were on top of them, but it was just, they just couldn't get the goal in the end, up until Stephen Welsh put that in the back of the net. And it was 89 minutes as well, which I had to laugh at the scoring time.
I mean, yeah, it is a rough time to lose a goal, but we had Dundee United versus Aberdeen postponed. Obviously, there's been a lot of rain, bad weather conditions up there. Lots of postponed games from up that way recently. Not that shocked it got postponed, to be honest with you.
No, I've seen the state of the pitch before the game, and honestly, it could have been called off like a week before that, because there was no way you were getting that pitch back into a playable condition before then. It just was like the messiest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, that pretty much sums up our Wednesday night games, and that's all of our midweeks covered as well, as we move on to an entertaining weekend, as well as the midweek games that we had. And the first one that kicks us off, I believe, would be Dundee against Livingston. Ended in a 2-2 draw. Fairly good performance from Livingston for that. Obviously, claws a point back at the end of the day for them as well. They were 2-0 down after Simon Murray scored in the 3rd and 5th minute. But Livingston came back in the 15th and 19th minute. It was Lewis Smith to get Livingston back with 1 goal, and then Scott Pittman made it 2-2. It's a tight game, to be fair, to come back from it, but Livingston, we say this all the time as well, they're not coming back from where they are.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, they can. I feel bad saying just no, but I mean, they may as well try and get a few more points on the board, even if they're not gonna survive. But I can't lie, I was at the Hibs game. I haven't seen or heard too much about this game. I mean, very quick start, 4 goals in the first 20 minutes, but after that, nothing else. I mean, Dundee fans probably won't be the happiest with that. Livingston at home is probably a game where you're looking to take all 3 points. As we have said a few times, Dundee aren't in a bad position, but they're not in a good position. 3 points could have got them pushing quite closely to Aberdeen, only getting 1 point from that game. St Mirren's only a point behind. It would have been a good chance to push them away from the Kilmarnock and St Mirren, but I guess it is what it is for Dundee.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually watch the highlights, and to be fair, obviously, Simon Murray scoring 2 goals in the space of 8 minutes, Livingston 2-0 down. But fair play to Livingston for coming back and scoring 2 goals, fair play to them. But I did see the Dundee goalie had a bit of a howler. Honestly, I mean, I think he was like caught in possession. I think it was the second or first goal. It was one of the Livy goals. He got caught in possession, but that led to a Livingston goal. But honestly, I think Dundee fans, as Morgan said, will be a bit disappointed with that. They'd be looking maybe to take 3 points against a Livy side who are in relegation, whereas a Dundee side who nearly beat Celtic in the cup at the last weekend. But fair play to Livingston for trying, but I think for me, Livingston are definitely just going down, and that's it. And it's really hard for them, but I don't see them picking up anytime really soon from that gap. So yeah.
I'm the same as that. It's just, obviously, like we mentioned there, Dundee probably a bit disappointed with that. In the end, you're playing Livingston at home, you expect something out of it, but Livingston, they're not going to pick up from where they are in the league, but a point's a point for them, and it's better than dropping 3 again. So they get something out of it, and obviously change of manager within Livingston as well in the last couple of weeks. So if I'm right in saying that's 2 draws they've got in that time since Marvin Bartley took over. Might just be the one.
I think it's just the one. I think they lost to Falkirk and they obviously lost to Celtic, but
I think it is just the one. I think I'm
Yeah. Their
thinking back
last
to
draw,
Wednesday night.
their last draw before that was the 20th of January.
Oh yeah, no. It's definitely been just the one then, but a point's a point. They'll take it.
Definitely. If that's us done with that game, Falkirk 2, Dundee United 3. I'm happy to see Falkirk drop points given the circumstances, and it seems like a very eventful game. I mean, 5 goals and a red card. You don't get too much more entertaining than that, do you? But yeah, Falkirk obviously go 1-0 up, Dundee equalise, Falkirk go another goal up. Dundee United, sorry, not Dundee. Dundee United equalise, and then Dundee United get the winner against 10 men Falkirk. It is Liam Henderson who got the red card, which I was actually a little bit surprised about, but I don't exactly know what the red card was from, so if either of you could enlighten me.
No, to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't seen it back myself either. It's one of those games that seems to have slipped through my watch backs this week. But Dundee United, I reckon they'll be fairly happy with that. We've been saying for a few weeks now as well with Jim Goodwin that it's, not been, the standard seems to be slipping a little bit at Dundee United, but he's got to be happy with that. Win away from home. That's only Falkirk's 4th loss at home all season as well, which is going to be disappointing for them to add on to that, but you can't complain.
Definitely,
I don't think you can complain.
Definitely. I mean, yes, it will be disappointing, especially if you factor in the fact it would have kept them level on points with us. But for Dundee United, yeah, it will be. It was an important win for them. It pushes them away from the Dundee, St Mirren, Kilmarnock sort of group, and it puts them above Aberdeen. Actually, they've got the same points and goal difference at the moment, but they're just sitting above them. Good position to be in, and it would be an important win for them. Especially with, obviously, as you were saying, the standard sort of dropping and them not having the greatest of luck recently. So yeah, big win for them. Disappointing loss for Falkirk. Positive for Hibs.
yeah, I mean, be a wee bit disappointed for Falkirk, but I think as well going down to 10 men maybe isn't the best. But in a Dundee United perspective, it's going to look a really, really good result and against a really decent Falkirk side who have been fantastic this season. Obviously, Jim Goodwin getting a first win in God knows probably how long now. But I think it's maybe keeping Dundee United out of that wee spell where maybe we're sitting in and Killar round about that area. But I think fair play to Dundee United, got all 3 points there. Obviously, I did see a Scott Payne goalkeeper mistake for one of the Dundee United goals, but either that, I think maybe just Falkirk maybe can pick off for this now and hopefully come back next week. But yeah.
I mean, personally,
I for one
we
hope
don't
Falkirk come back next week.
I personally don't hope that Falkirk come back next week. But no, I feel like that pretty much sums up that game, to be honest with you. There's not an awful lot to say about it at all. But we'll move on, and Morgan, stage is yours. Hibs 2, St Mirren 0.
Positive performance after a really disappointing loss. Yeah, it was so important that we went back to winning ways today. First half, I do think we were the better side. Second half, yeah, I think we sort of showed that we were the better side. We deserved these 3 points. St Mirren had a few moments where they looked decent, but overall, I do think we were the deserved winners. McGrath, amazing. Barlasser, amazing. Nicky Cadden, excellent. 2 new signings got the goals, Elding and Soto. Soto has really became a super sub these days. He's been subbed on a total of 3 times and he scored in 2 of them, I believe. Eldon got his first start and his first goal. But yeah, positives to take, and it was a well needed win after the Derby defeat. But yeah, I do think there was a lot of positives to take, and I'm happy with that. I'll take that. St Mirren, obviously, in that not so good spot. They've not been the same ever since winning the cup, as we have said many of times. They're sitting 10th right now, and Kilmarnock only being 3 points behind in that 11th spot. So Kilmarnock could be overtaking them, so they will need to be very conscious of how close behind Kilmarnock actually are. Of course, Kilmarnock did drop points as well, so this particular game didn't make them fall further behind, but yeah, it's not a good time for St Mirren, especially with how positive that cup win would have been. But yeah, I'm really happy. It's so great to see McGrath back in the squad again. He's just excellent.
I was gonna say that he was out injured for a few games, but no, positive performance from you though as well. Like you said, 2 new signings scoring, so that's always a good thing. At least you're bringing in people that are making an impact. I was going to mention that about Soto. He reminds me a little bit of how Kizaridis was at the start of the season for us. And being that player you bring on to change the game round. And I can't lie, the past few games I've been really frustrated with Kizaridis, but I think it's also the fact that he's become a very predictable player. So something that maybe Hibs need to watch out for with him if he becomes one of those players as well, because it becomes frustrating from a fan's perspective when you're watching those games. But in general though, positive performance from you is being at home against St Mirren. St Mirren struggling a little bit on that end as well, but I don't think it's a game that they'll really look at and be too annoyed with. It's maybe one of those ones that when they're away from home you kind of expect it to be a little bit harder to get something out of, so good from a Hibs perspective, and needs work from St Mirren's side.
Oh, definitely. I mean, feels like a common theme here that they need to change. I thought Mandron was quite good for St Mirren. He definitely made an impact when he came on, but
I've rated him quite highly this season, to be honest with you. I think he's one of those players that you see him on the team sheet and you go, oh no.
Yeah.
Like he's a dreaded player to play against because he is very physical and tall. This is one thing about St Mirren's team that gets me. They have the tallest squad I think I've ever seen. It looks like an average height of 6'2" or something, which is insane.
That's insanity. No, definitely. I mean, he came on half time and you could tell the impact of him on the pitch compared to when he wasn't on in the first half. But yeah, solid win. I don't have a lot to say. I have a lot of praise for the Hibs team and the way they played. And yeah, I think dropping Martin Boyle was the right decision from David Gray. I absolutely adore Martin Boyle. I have a poster of that man on my wall. Like, he's been my favourite player. He was my favourite player back when we had him again. Like, I adore the man. But dropping him was definitely the right decision. He's just been missing so many big chances. And he is getting older. He's getting ready to leave Hibs. But I think he can still make such an impact as a sub. When you're a tired defender and have Martin Boyle running at you, like, that isn't ideal for a defender, is it? Martin Boyle's still got quality, and I just think it's good to have him on the bench, and it's good to see David Gray switching it up and not putting him in that 11, and it was a really needed decision.
Yeah, no, totally. It's good that you have the ability to kind of adapt your squad around that as well and give these kinds of players a rest, because he does give it 110 every time he's on the pitch, so it's good for him to see that within the squad as well. But Heidi, have you got anything to add on to that game?
Yeah, I mean, another 3 points for Hibs. I mean, it's massive, obviously, after a few poor results. Obviously, after a Derby defeat, they kind of wanted to maybe come back and prove themselves and done that. St Mirren maybe not been the greatest, but they're still a not bad side. You can't really diss them. I know they're sitting as like 10th in the league. You know, they're maybe not been the greatest this season, but against St Mirren side, it's obviously still tough, even though if they're still down near the bottom. But new signing scoring for Hibs as well. Really great to see that. Obviously, that sort of scoring two goals in 3 games. Obviously, it's really important to see that, and I think it showed maybe Jordan Boyle isn't now. David Gray has now got options. He knows that he's got options in strikers as well. So massive 3 points for Hibs, and hopefully now they can kind of push on and hopefully get more. But it's a massive maybe lift off David Gray's shoulders after fans kind of been at him saying David Gray out. But I think that's just silly. But nah, massive win for Hibs and a clean sheet. That's all you can ask for.
Oh, definitely. I think it's just we did really strengthen in the transfer window, did some good business, and it's already started benefiting us. It benefited us against Dundee United, and it benefited us massively today, of course. One thing I would like to see for Hibs on the transfer side of things, I'd like to see us try and get Barlasser on a pre-contract, perhaps. I'd love to see us sign in. I just, I'm always falling in love with these loan players. But Barlasser is out of contract at the end of the season, so I reckon we could get him on a non-loan term and sign him properly. So here's hoping, because I would love to see Barlasser at Hibs for more than just this season. I do really rate him highly.
Yeah, I was going to say that he is one of the players that kind of stands out to me within your squad as well. And it's like I've had a couple of games I've gone to this season as a neutral fan, two of which being at Easter Road, one for a game against Dundee and the second one for the game against Celtic. And I think in both of those games he was the player that I found myself kind of noting down a lot about him during that game, and I do rate him as a player. I had 3 that stood out for me in those games, and they've continued to do so for the rest of the season, those being Barlasser, McGrath and Mulligan. So that's always something to take out of that as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, see if we kept Triantis, tell me that wouldn't be the best midfield in the world. Right, don't get me started on Triantis, because that could be like a long combo. But no, I do think, especially when we have Mulligan back from injury, well, if he's back before the end of the season, because I can see him getting out at the end of the season, but if he's back before the end of the season, I do think it is a strong midfield of having McGrath, Barlasser and Mulligan there, plus other options that we can take in and out, such as Andrews, Newell. There's just lots of options, which it's good to see, because I feel like before the window it felt like we had no options. So yeah, definitely. I do think Salinger gets it really harsh, but I really, really rate Salinger as a keeper personally. I think he's a good keeper.
Yeah, I had a bit of like a dig at him, and I'll admit I did before the derby at Easter Road. But then in that game, he ended up being annoyingly good, and it stressed me out. And then ever since then, I don't think I've got a bad thing to say about him. He's had obviously a couple of dodgy opportunities, but what keeper doesn't? It's one of those horrible positions within the squad where you'll get the blame for everything. Even if it's not your fault, you're the first one to be blamed because you let the goal go in. And that's just the way that it is. And I think that's also a Scottish football problem more than
I
anything.
think he's also had the very difficult job of coming after Jordan Smith, who maybe quality wise wasn't the best keeper, but he was so loved by the Hibs fans. Jordan Smith, like, I love Jordan Smith, but I feel like because of how well loved Jordan Smith were, people are more sceptical of Salinger and more ready to jump back in with the Get Smith back.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But we'll move on to Sunday's games. I get my kick out this first one, I really do. Kilmarnock 2, Celtic 3.
Wow.
I personally watched the game, right? I did. I watched the game. I thought that the first half, and I can't be the only one out of the 3 of us that thinks this, Kilmarnock were playing like unreal.
Yep.
They were unbelievable. John Jules, again, he's going to become one of these players, I think, that we mention quite often now. Absolutely running them off the park. And on a Celtic side, I think that Maeda had an absolute shocker. I think that Yang had a shocker as well. Neither of them looked up for that at all. The opportunity that Maeda had, that he took, and there was it looked lazy. Like he wasn't trying. There wasn't an effort being made into that. So I get my kick out of it for that reason, because personally, Kilmarnock deserved something out of that game in the end. They really did. And you just got lucky with another late goal. There's 97 minutes. There's something going on.
Jonah Araujo, what a legend.
I mean, I was being a hate. I was like, I do feel like Kilmarnock deserves something out of that, but as an active Hearts hater, I was happy for Celtic. I was like, oh, I was very happy about that. But Kilmarnock, for a team going from literally being the talk of a relegation, for being down there with Livingston, and now they're pulling out 2 goals against Celtic and within half an hour and looking like a strong team. It's been such a turnaround, and you've got to give them credit, even if they didn't get the 3 points today. Disappointing, but sometimes even though they've got no points, you need to take pride in your performance and just look at the positives from that game. I don't think you can be too disappointed with that. It's just one of those typical things about football. The teams that are doing well seem to get these like last minute winners all the time, and it's so frustrating. But credit to Kilmarnock and Celtic again, showing fights, keeping themselves in the title race with that late goal.
Yeah, I mean, first half I was absolutely raging, but you know what? Wasn't a surprise, because I thought Kilmarnock were very good. John Jules again. I mean, that man, is he going to stop scoring, that man? But honestly, nah, I thought Killy were excellent. They showed their fight. We just looked non-existent. Rio Hatate, non-existent. Maeda, non-existent. Yang, non-existent. Like, the team just looked so bad the first half. Like, I don't know what was going on. Like, it just didn't look right. And I think away to Rugby Park, it's always going to be a tough game. Like, it's never going to be easy away to Killy. Never. But obviously Casper Schmeichel, what is he doing for that second goal? Oh, that man drives me crazy sometimes, honestly. Um, but honestly, to fight back, I mean, in the second half and take off the players who were playing crap, and they bring on Chamberlain, Taneki, and a few others just to bring that freshness in, and I think it did help. Taneki, what a goal that was! Great goal for Taneki. Obviously, Nigun scored, and then Joey Araujo last minute winner. I mean, to save us. Honestly, to absolutely save us, because if he didn't score that, we would have probably been dropped 2 points. And to be fair, deserved, because Kelly did deserve at least 2 points or even 3 from that, because I thought they were excellent, especially that first half. And I maybe understand that Neil McCann's a wee bit frustrated, but you know what? It's what champions do. Win and get in focus, saying, oh, play till Celtic score. Well, I'll tell you this thing. The ref played the right on time, so they scored right to the death, and that's just football for you. That's just what happens. So now I'm really happy if managed to just pull through and get the win, even though it was a terrible performance for us. But honestly, I don't care. It's a win, and it keeps us in neck with the title race. Only a point off Rangers with a game in hand. So yeah, title race is looking interesting now.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what, like, obviously, I'm the first one to wind everybody up, right? The referee played the right amount of time at the end. He's just scored in the last minute. I'm not pulling a last weekend with when everyone was like 97, it was never 97. That's not what I'm doing, because it was 97. There was like something like 5 substitutions, concussions, the whole lot. I think that the injury to John Jules could be catastrophic if it is bad.
Definitely.
For Kilmarnock, and it looked sore. Like, the way that he went down, it looked sore. So hopefully it's not anything majorly bad for them. But yeah, not ideal in the slightest anyways. I thought that as well, the shot that he had on goal from the free kick hit the bar. Very unlucky not to score that. personally, I don't think that Schmeichel was getting to that either. One of those ones you're just not saving it. I thought that the Kilmarnock goalkeeper, and forgive me because I have forgotten his name, I think that he had a brilliant save right off the line. It was like Craig Gordon. That's what I'm comparing that to. Not as good, but reaction times were very, very quick for that. So I've got to give him a lot of credit for that as well. I thought Oxlade-Chamberlain was good when he came on too. He adds a lot into the game. He's a very adaptable player into that squad. And I had my suspicions when he got announced. Where's he going to fit in? How's he going to do anything? He's not played a professional game in months. He's not going to come in and slot into that squad. And I'll eat my words because I think he's had 2 very good games when he's came on and he's created chances and he's obviously had a goal off the back of one of them as well. So I do give him a lot of credit for that. But yeah, it was a frustrating game from a Kilmarnock point of view. Good from a Celtic point of view, coming back 2-0 down and obviously keeps you in that title fight as well. So yeah, we'll move on to the next game from Sunday, and it was Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 0. Not shocked.
I know, another clean sheet for Motherwell. Good performance. Goal for Elijah Just. Yeah, I mean, who's shocked at that? It's pretty much just how Motherwell's been getting on.
No,
I don't really have much to say. There's not much shock. It's a good Motherwell side, and Aberdeen's been struggling a bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's even Aberdeen? I don't even know who Aberdeen's manager is.
Peter leaving.
Oh, yeah.
Still on an interim basis. There's been absolutely no talks of a permanent manager coming in at the moment. I think it was said at the time that he would more than likely be till the end of the season and then they would start looking, but I really thought there would be like a name lined up by now. But there's been absolutely nothing. Like, I've not heard a single thing. So it'll be interesting to see when that all starts unfolding in the next few months as to who they will actually bring in come the end of the season. But overall, Motherwell, strong side. No comment apart from that, really. Aberdeen, struggling, not doing great. That's their first game in, I think, 3 weeks now as well, which is crazy. And I feel like when you've got enough time in training, I'm not saying they would have won that game by any means, you're at least expecting a bit of a fight in it though. So it's maybe really disappointing from an Aberdeen side. Elijah Just scoring that goal as well in the first one. So he's just been brilliant this season. I think between him and Masfinisi, take your pick. Because they've been outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, obviously another clean sheet, 3 points for Motherwell. That's all you can ask for, and that's what I expect them this season. They've been outstanding. They've been brilliant. As I've said about 5 million times, I think they've just shown the quality again, shown that they can just get wins on the board, and I think they've got a really good team spirit, good manager. Aberdeen just not playing a wee bit. And obviously their managerless at the minute. They've only got, is it Peter Leaving and Tony Docherty in charge. Tony Docherty's going to help him with coaching.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just been a wee bit of damper if you're an Aberdeen fan at the minute, but you can't. It's a tough game away to a Motherwell side who have just been flying all season, so I've no really surprises here. But yeah, another 2-0 win for Motherwell.
Yeah, and that means they've now gone 11 games unbeaten at home as well, which is incredible.
Impressive home record. But, I mean, it's not even just their home record. They've just been playing so well. It's very deserved.
100%.
And I mean, maybe they're not directly in with that top 3, but they're keeping themselves at a reasonable distance from them. They're not falling behind.
Yeah, no, it has been a close. It's very close at the top of the table, and I think that for Motherwell, it's probably a lot better than they would be expecting as well. And to be in a position in 4th where you're comfortably 4th
Definitely. It's almost sad that it's this season where you've got like Hearts doing so well. Any other season, a team playing of this quality would comfortably be getting that third place spot. So it's almost a shame that they've done it this season and not another season.
Yeah, I think between them and Falkirk, like, the praise is not there as much for them because Hearts are in the position that we're in. But I'm happy that we are where we are. I'm slightly sad that they obviously don't get their spotlight as much, but it's been a great season to be a Hearts fan so far, so I can't complain too
Well,
much. Well, yeah, sorry, let me rephrase that. It was been a great season to be a Hearts fan. As that unfortunately takes us on to our next game, which if we can skip past it, I would absolutely love to.
I had to suck up the Derby talk, so go on.
No, I'll take it. Rangers 4, Hearts 2. I'm so annoyed. I can't even lie. And I'm not even annoyed at the scoreline, right? They've won, that's it. Whatever. Why did Trimiti score a hat-trick? The boy now works out at being worth 1.3 million per goal that he scored. Awful. I don't want to think about that. We had an unfortunate injury come in very early. It looked like a really sore one for McEntee, dislocated shoulder potentially, which is not great. He looked to be in a lot of pain with that one. First goal did come from Mark Leonard though, and I thought he took it really well. I did think originally that Braga had absolutely bottled it. When the ball came across the box, but Mark Leonard was there and he just struck it straight away. First touch, straight in the back of the net. I was very happy with that. It only took 2 minutes for Rangers to claw another one back, and we went back to what I like to call a full reset, because when you're 1-1, you're basically just 0-0. So it was what it was. Frustrating, but we keep going. We started the game drawing, so we're now just continuing. We got another goal come in from Claudio Braga. I thought he took it very well. It's a good, solid header. I know that they had Shankland in the commentary box. Well, not the commentary box, but they had him in the studio for Sky Sports today as well. So it's nice to kind of see his take on the way that the players played in that first half. First half did end 2-2 though, when Rangers got another goal back, which is disappointing, but honestly, I think that they had a really decent game as well. I do think that there's a little bit of controversy that there should have been a Rangers player sent off for a second dive, which I'm honestly not shocked, so no point in complaining about it. And then we went into the second half and we made changes which just didn't work at all. We had Kabori coming on, we had Asia going off. I thought that he didn't have a great game at all today. It was very slack. There wasn't a lot going for him. But overall, it's a frustrating performance, and I think that we really could have gotten more out of that game. But we take it, we move on, and that's it. Our losses that we've had this season, we've now had 4. They've all been away from home. And we know how to come back from them. It's disappointing. But our next run of games theoretically shouldn't be difficult. We've got our hard games out of the way. We've had Celtic at the end of January. We've had Hibs midweek. And we've just played Rangers. So that's our tough games out of the way now. Our next game is against Falkirk, and then we've got Aberdeen, Kilmarnock and Dundee as our next 4 games. So realistically, I would like to be seeing 3 points out of each of those, but we'll see what comes of it.
I'm going to weirdly say, at this moment in time, hearing that, I think Kilmarnock and Falkirk are your biggest challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I think Falkirk next weekend will be tough. I think our holding point to that is that we're at home. Obviously, they did just beat us in the Scottish Cup as well, which I don't want to speak about. But Kilmarnock at Rugby Park, it's going to be hard. We did play them at Rugby Park earlier on this season as well, and we got a 3-0 win from that game, which I was actually at that game. It's the first time I've ever been to Rugby Park, and is actually kind of nice. But
Yeah, other than
yeah.
the leg.
Yeah, legroom shocking, and the stand shakes.
No, it does.
It freaked me out, but it was a good away day. I can't complain in that
Yeah.
sense. But no, today's game it was frustrating, but we need to just take it and move on from there. And then we just can't dwell on that at all.
Definitely. It was a massive game, of course, in terms of the title race, and it really opens it up even further. I mean, it's got to be a weird one from a Celtic perspective, Heidi. I mean, you're obviously seeing your rivals win, but it's also very helpful if you're wanting to push for that title.
Yep, it is.
It's a weird one. So what's your thoughts on it?
I did watch a wee bit of it, and I thought it was quite end to end. Like there was just goals coming and coming, but Rangers got the victory in the end. And I think Danny Rowe has brought momentum back to Rangers. Obviously, he's not won anything yet, but as we're seeing, since he's came, he's brought a wee bit momentum back to Rangers. He's brought that depth to come back in the squad, and I think that's really important and put them in a really, really great position title race. They're 1 point in front of us just now. Obviously we've got a game in hand against Aberdeen. But in terms of that, I mean, it's just the top two sides, neck and neck. It's going to be, interesting. But Rangers managed to get the 3 points in the end, and you can obviously Hearts maybe they've dropped it. Maybe there's a bubble bursting yet. Obviously, we don't know. Obviously, there's still a long way to go in the season. The title race is so open for anybody. Like that top three is going to be mental in terms of who wins that league. But I think, as I said, Hearts have got quite a tough game on the weekend. Falkirk at home. I know they're at home, but you know what Falkirk are like. Even against us at home, I thought they were quite good, to be fair. So there's still every game in the league is not easy. Like every single game for the top three is not easy, and who's ever going to just push on and win the league? But it could go to the wire. But honestly, thanks Rangers for giving us only a point behind you. Really appreciate that. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that game.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, it's frustrating from our side of it, but
that title race is just really interesting. Hearts on 57, Rangers on 55, Celtic on 54. And of course, Celtic do have that game in hand, which is against Aberdeen. Presuming you beat Aberdeen, you could go level on points with Hearts. I mean, goal difference, there's 4 in it, so you need a 5-0 win to go top. I mean, it's not out of the realms of possibility, but that would be a real challenge. Oh, it's such a. I just don't know how that could go. It is truly mental. I genuinely could not tell you who I think's going to win the league. Like, oh, it's insane.
Same. It's mental.
Like, I just really, really hope it's not Hearts. So badly. But
it'll be a very interesting end to the season on the podcast if that is the case, anyways.
But wow, it truly is a crazy, crazy season. It is a crazy season to be a Scottish football fan.
It is. And it's been a crazy weekend of football as well, but that pretty much sums up all of our games. So if we want to look ahead to next week, and we'll do some quick fire predictions.
Yeah, before we get into the Premiership action, Celtic game in the Europa League. This is a game to get you through to the knockouts against Stuttgart. You're home this week. What are you thinking?
Right, Europe obviously is massive. It's good for it's good for like the coefficient and that could get its money and stuff. But I think the most important thing is this league for us in that Scottish Cup. I think Europe can just get binned now. And obviously it's still important, of course. You don't want to just sit there and get battered, no way. But I think in terms of the league and the Scottish Cup's our main focus, I think Europe's not really our focus at the minute. Yeah, of course you would nice to be through, but then we would have more games on top of that. We'd be playing, Thursday, Sunday again, and after Europe we'd be tired, and then after Europe we're not like great. We're not the best after Europe. sometimes it can maybe give us we're a wee bit iffy. So I think whatever happens in that, whatever happens, but I think our main focus for this season is definitely that league and definitely the Scottish Cup for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Celtic on Thursday night, but if you lose, I do not think it's the end of the world.
No.
No, I think for the position that you are in just now, you've got, including Europe, 3 things that you're fighting in. So it's a lot to kind of take on in Europe. I feel like for a lot of Scottish football teams, it is kind of the background more than anything. And it is unfortunately just the way that it is for a lot of Scottish teams, that Europe kind of gets pushed out of the way and the focus goes towards the Scottish Cup and the league, because they're the most important ones for your club at the end of the day.
Definitely, but
just before moving on to the Premiership ones as well, we actually do have 2 Scottish Cup games midweek as well, and they are from the previous postponed games. One of those being Dundee United against Spartans on Tuesday night, and the second one, funnily enough, being Aberdeen against Motherwell again, but this time it's Aberdeen at home. I've got predictions for these ones, and we'll start off with Dundee United against Spartans. As much as I'd love to still have an Edinburgh club within the Scottish Cup, it's not going to happen. I can't see it happening. And for that, I have gone with 3-0 for Dundee United.
2-0 Dundee United.
I'll go same as Morgan, 2-0 Dundee United.
Fair enough. And then we move up to Pittodrie on Wednesday. Aberdeen take on Motherwell. I've gone for an exact carbon copy of this weekend and 2-0 Motherwell.
2-0 Motherwell.
2-0 Motherwell.
We're really, really like reaching out, going some unique whack predictions over here.
Honestly, this is just the way that we are. But no, and then we'll move into the Scottish Premiership. We have got 4 games taking place on Saturday and 2 games taking place on Sunday. Saturday games will start off again at Pittodrie. Aberdeen against Dundee. I have gone for 2-2 on this prediction.
You know what? Fair enough. Do you know what? I don't know. And I'm quite liking that, but I'm going to go 1-1. Slightly less entertaining.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go the same as Morgan. I'll just go a 1-1 draw. It's quite, they're quite unpredictable at the minute about the 2 of them. But yeah, I think I'm just going to draw on that one as well. So
yeah. We then move to Tannadice for Dundee United against Kilmarnock. I'm back in Kilmarnock with the form that they've had in the last 2 games. 3-1.
I'll go for a 1-0 win for Kilmarnock. And I mean, if he's there, John Jules to be the goal scorer.
and I'll go with 2-1 Kelly. Back in Kelly, I think they'll win. I think they showed that the last couple of games, so I think they'll win that. So 2-1 Kelly.
All got a backing for Kelly in this one.
This is when we lose, because we have faith in them.
I know. But no, and then we take a trip to Tynecastle, Hearts against Falkirk. I will be in attendance at this game. I have gone for 2-1 to Hearts, and I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I do think that we'll get 3 points out of it, but it is going to be scrappy and difficult, and that's just due to the standard that Falkirk have got themselves to as well. So 2-1 to Hearts.
1-1.
Yep. I would love nothing more to Hearts drop us a couple of wee points. So I'm going to go same as Morgan. Hearts 1, Falkirk 1.
Wow, guys, I'm really feeling the love here.
See,
really, really feeling
it's
the
not
love.
against you, it's just against your football club. Like,
Yeah,
you're
just your
okay,
football
but your club...
Club is...
Nah, I'm joking.
I suppose I'll take it if it's not against me. And then our final game.
Sorry, I've just kick-off time here. I'm a bit taken aback.
Yep. We're not going to get started on kick-off times because I feel like it's been the running theme and the running rant that we've had. But St Mirren against Motherwell, 7:30 on a Saturday. 3-1 Motherwell.
I don't see Motherwell conceding. I'm going to go for a 1-0. Smize's hard place to go, but I reckon Motherwell will do the job.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2-1 Motherwell. Smizer is a difficult place to go, but I think Motherwell will just come away with the 3 points in the end.
Yeah. I'm saying that knowing fine well that we just got beat off with St Mirren there literally last week, but it's fine, I guess. And then we move on to our last 2 games for the weekend. We have got 2 games on Sunday. Celtic versus Hibs.
I'm going to the game.
I'm not.
I have taken a draw for this one. I've gone
Really?
for 1-1.
3-0 Celtic. You can see I have faith
Thank
in my
you,
team.
Morgan. I'll go 2-1 because I need to keep my wee winning streak up at Parkhead. Haven't been to a game at Parkhead where we've lost. The last Celtic Hibs was a 0-0. And it was boring.
See, I don't like going to Parkhead. I've been, but
So,
Yeah.
it's not
Fair
a
play.
good
I mean, at
Celtic.
least I've gone with a draw. I've been.
Yeah, I know. Actually,
Yeah.
you've been the nicest on Hibs out of anyone here.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, in this case, I would actually prefer you to win, which I never thought those would be words out of my mouth either. But here we are. But no, I will take 1-1 for that one. Purely just based on the last 2 performances that Celtic have put in as well. Obviously, you have won. They've not been convincing though. So that is my take on that one. And our final game for the weekend, we are in Livingston for Livingston against Rangers. I feel like it could be higher than what I've got predicted, but I'm going with 3-0 for Rangers.
I'll say 3-1.
I'll go 2-0 Rangers.
Fair play. Well, that pretty much sums up our past week of Scottish football and our look ahead to next week as well. It has been lovely as always.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for listening. Appreciate all the support as always. Go check out Molly, Heidi, and my own content. We all make Scottish football content on various platforms. But again, thank you all for the support.